What's up, everybody? This year, I turned 40 years old. And I have to bring this up because, I gotta remind myself of my age because, sometimes you hear things and, it sounds too bizarre to be true. But, when you comb over it and you go over the details, it becomes more and more deranged as it goes along. So, on my birthday, in the country of the United Kingdom, a 15-year-old girl ordered, I think actually she might have been 14, ordered her parents ordered a TV and it was getting delivered to her on my birthday, June the 20th of a Friday. Of course, I'm in Canada, celebrating my birthday by myself, eating all this junk food, playing video games. And as these guys are delivering the TV to this girl who's home alone, right? They notice that, and then they lock the door, and they take turns taking advantage of her. The report says that one of I think they were brothers, laughed at the victim as she was getting assaulted and stuff, and then subsequently joined in afterwards. Giving credence to the fact that like they're secretly homosexual and stuff, and also going back to that previous statement I made, how they're, I had a lot of critics in my Hassan is a loser video. And I made this unfortunate thing. And I don't suggest anybody who's getting into social media, YouTube does this, but I was getting like so many comments. Like, for me, right? Like, I'm a channel of like, what, 16 subscribers. Okay. I think I lost some. Okay. And like, there's like just a bunch of people leaving comments on just this one video that Hassan is a loser because I called him out for pulling a gun on stream and like the fact that he didn't get banned and then like he got the curse of Azure. He thought that like, oh man, I'm untouchable. Like I can mess with anybody. Oh, look at this small streamer. He's threatening me with a crusade. Do you know who I am? I'm Hassan. See this? I gotta go. Wait, what? Terms of service? What do you mean this? No! Not the curse! Curse of Azure! Oh no! Oh no! I have a good lawyer! I was acting in self-defense! I'm just like voice critical. You have to believe me! Unfortunately, Hassan, this is probably gonna be like his last, like, call to fame. I know I'm going completely off topic with Hassan yet again. This is like a serious topic, but it's like, you know, it just goes to show, like, how this special treatment and, like, the infamy of, like, some people and stuff. It's so crazy, actually, I forgot what I was talking about. But anyways, like, yeah, so this unfortunate thing happened to this, like, girl, on my birthday. And, obviously the people got arrested, she called the cops, she was hysterical and stuff. And it goes to show how, like, there's this narrative that the Sikhs are trying to build that like they're fighting against the grooming gang. Like there's some sort of hero that or also victims that their women are, being trafficked. And I'm not saying that's completely untrue, but I think like what people are not willing to accept is the reality that is twofold. Not one, like prostitution and like, sex work is very common in their culture. And two, that I'm like I didn't know about that either, right? I'm like, oh, brown people, they're just like me. No, no, they're really not. And two, that well, like people are covering for them. This is this is more of the same, and this is only the stories that we're hearing about. And the reason why I say this is only the stories that we're hearing about, because I just heard this story, like, and it was just like so insane. And I saw this guy, and he had like this weird hairdo, and it was, what was that? Yeah, yeah, Count Down Killer video. So he does all these like videos about like the goings on in Europe, UK specifically, Germany, by extension, whatever. Like generally speaking, like he is like Eurocentric news, right? At least for me to like get like an outside opinion, not corrupt or like corporate owned, voicing a very much an agenda. Like the idea that like not only that like these perpetrators that like delivered the TV and assaulted this girl in her house were Sikhs and like that was left out, but also like there's this huge ass pedophile, like huge ass pedophile, like this guy, and like I could see why like the media is going out of their way to protect these people. Like holy shit, if you knew how bad this guy was, right? And I have to literally like I couldn't like I wanted to write down a script and just like go over all the stuff that he did, but it's like it's so much, like I just have to just open up the page, and it's roughly, if I were to give a guess, 3 pages just of like facts alone, and then like sparse between like there's even more like to it, and I'll get to like all of it, but like let's start at the very beginning. This guy, right? So I bring up my age, right? 1985. I turned 40 in June. This guy is gonna turn 40 in October. Yeah, that's right. He's my age. Name is Jackie Jaj, but his real name is Jaskarn Jaj, because like that's the Sikh names, But like they like to, appear more westernized, more normal by taking other names. So you get like Mandeep, but they'll call themselves Manny. It's like okay, but it's like everybody always like mistaken like Manny for Manuel, right? Because it's like it's classically a Hispanic name, so that's why like it's kind of funny how they like try to like I'm Steve. It's like some S name that's just like sounds really dumb. But anyways, so this guy, right, has a super long history with his pedophilic Punjabi ways, right? So it all like ultimately concluded with his arrest in France, but we're gonna get to that because he is a convicted pedophile in the United Kingdom, right? And there was no. I see. This is why I have this thing on the internet, so that like I can go through all of it because there was more to this story than him just like starting this thing off. Although I could be wrong about this. Okay, let me just go. So bad. All right, here we go down that rabbit hole. Here we go. Okay, so he got convicted in 2016 because I kind of swore he was doing something like beforehand, right? So he got convicted in 2016 and in jail for 4 years for sexually assaulting two 15-year-old girls. So how he did that and like how this guy operates is very scammy, like the Brampton Sikh way, Punjabi way, like to just be like just full of shit all the time. So like he got put on the sex offenders registry, and he's also been charged with fraud, breach of trust, money laundering, whatever, blah 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 blah. But I actually think this is for his like Disney thing. So back in the day, he got this, right, and it hurt this guy so much, right, because he got jailed for 4 years. So from 2016, so if you do the math, he'll come out 2020, 2021. So he comes out and he does a bunch of strange things. So, and I gotta pull these things up because it's like it's actually worth noting because it's like, again, you're not gonna hear this from the media because it's one of those things where it's kind of unbelievable in a way, like how profoundly bad it is and how like them not telling you, when I say them, the media, not telling you the complete truth. Although the locals, this is the it's not funny, right? Like, nothing about this is funny, but like the locals recognize him, so it's like it's kind of cool how like he's infamous in a way, but like he's not truly like known, like well known. Like I'm just hearing about this just now, right? So um he comes out and he does a bunch of weird things. One of the things he does, right, is he pretends he's famous and he does like a fake red carpet screening to a movie or something, and he gets all these specifically young people, so like children, underage, to yeah, and they're cheering for him, they're touching him. He's wearing a prosthetic mask, or like, yeah, he was wearing a prosthetic mask. He wore the makeup the second time. He's wearing a prosthetic mask, and then the second he took it off, people could recognize him, and they're just like, "Oh my god, this is this fucking guy again." And then they made news, and wow. So this guy, I'm thinking is one of two things. One, he's like really good with like computers or whatever, and like he can just like siphon money, scam people, whatever, because he got charged with that. But that's like later down the road. So I'm also thinking like he comes from like rich loaded parents, because like again, like you know what I mean, like you did 4 years and it's two people, right? And I don't want to know the details, but I'm guessing you had a really good lawyer. Okay? I'm just gonna throw that out there, because it's like, okay, you can take one of these things, right? Like the testimony of a witness, and you can say, oh, it's fallible, they're under duress, or they're lying, they have like conceit or whatever, right? But if you have two people, like that argument becomes lessened, because if you believe this one person over these two people, which you're more than inclined to do if like the evidence, like if their testimonies aren't adding up, like if the like evidence doesn't match, the details are inconclusive, etc., right? But again, like it's two people, right? Whether you want to conclude that 15-year-olds don't have the cognitive capability of memory and like recollection or whatever, like you can make that debate. Meanwhile, he was, what was he? So this happened like that time ago, and he was like, okay, so in that time I was like, yeah, I was like 30, right? 2016. What the fuck? What time? When did he do this again? See, this is why I have this shit, because it's like I don't want to write this shit down. My mom's gonna see this. She's gonna like fucking burn this shit. It's dumb. 2016, yeah. So, oh no. 2016. Well, yeah. I moved to Brandon like for 2 years, so I was like 31. Oh my god, what a fucking loser. So he's like attacking people like half his age. All right, so yeah, and he gets put away for like 4 years, and he's got that like he's got sex register, blah. So I'm actually surprised that the European Union, whatever, is so lax, and they let people with a RSO, as they say in North America, registered sex offenders, like on planes and shit, and like into other countries. But like then again, we're talking about France. Like fuck dog. Like France is like I made a video previously talking about France and like those riots about that stupid ass football game, and like those girls in the car, and like they were just like smashing it up, and they're still in the car. It's like it's the most scariest thing ever, because it's like, what the fuck, man? Like they're just like 20-ish teenage looking year old girls, like they're somebody's kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you think that they own that car that they're in? That's somebody else's car. Like, get real. Like, okay, fine. I might be naive, and they're like, they're just like this young looking old people, whatever. But like, does that still make it right? That, like, they're getting the car smashed up, and then you're having like stuff like this, where like a guy is like coming into your country, mind you. Okay, I get it though. Like, he did. Oh, no. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about this. Actually, to correct, sorry, Azure News. I'm suffering from some like asthma complications. My memory. Oh man. Uh, so okay, so I obviously like made oversight. He did use fake identification when he entered into France, and that's why he got charged with fraud and stuff. My bad, my bad. That's why this whole case is blowing up. Like, and it was pretty recently too. Excuse me. Oh, so like, I honestly, I mean, I just saw it today, but I had to make a video about it. So I'm going to be as extensive and professional about it as I possibly can. And yeah, it's pretty bad. And like, they really, really, really don't want you to know about this. And when I say they, we all know who I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm re-recording this because I missed the details. I got mixed up. So basically, he got released 2021, and as soon as this guy was released, same old tricks, same old Sikh tactics. Like does another faux mock, like a movie edition, and then he's trying to get a loan with like a 15-year-old girl. I think her guardian was there, like her parent, whatever. And then like they called the authorities, and then he was basically on the run. No, he wasn't on the run. So like he basically from there got the infamy, and then staged like this fake funeral where he hired like 100 mourners. And yeah, this guy's a real mental case. And this one's really well documented. There's like pictures of it online. He does like this fake red carpet thingy. I don't know if I said this, but I'll just go over it quickly. And he's just like getting all these kids. He's hiring them, paying them obviously money, and like they're touching him. He's like famous and stuff. It's the weirdest thing. Like, and apparently, like, there's these videos of them out there. Like, the original video of, the unfortunate victims in 2016 said that, like, the victim of it ruined her life and stuff. So obviously they're gonna get scrubbed off the internet. But it's like, just like the portal into this sick mind, Like, just, I don't know why it fascinates me, but it's like, because I live in Brampton, that's most likely. But like, like. What makes them go like that far? And like, we're the same age, dude. And like, this isn't like some guy who's like, an immigrant. He was born. They're calling him a British citizen or British person. It's like whatever, dude. That's such a loose term, but like that's the problem with like multiculturalism, is that you don't really understand like the limitations of people's mercy and stuff. Right? So he does this, and like he's getting all this like bad press and attention. And I think at one point he got the attention of the BBC, and they do like a hit piece on him or whatever. And so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna get revenge on these guys. I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna like film myself. Oh wait, no. Before he did that, he rented a Bugatti. I just gotta bring this up because it's like weird. He rented a Bugatti. And he went to like a dance school and started handing out gifts. I don't know why he did that. So just like whatever. I don't want to leave that detail out because it's just weird. And then like to add to all that BS, he's like he has to register with these people. He's getting charged for like not providing his phone. Like he's shifty. He doesn't want to like basically let people know what he's up to, because ultimately it led to him going to Paris. So I think like he was after he did the whole like thing with the red carpet and all the bad press, he did this like fake, well not fake, like this art piece or whatever. He hires a bunch of people, pyrotechnics, whatever, and he has this like truck that says the BBC on it, a jab at the BBC, and some police officer, like some police cars or whatever, and he just blows them all up, and it's like this gigantic flame, and apparently it made like national news. It's like, just like how dumb this guy is and like, how he wants attention and stuff. But like, yeah. And like, here's the thing, like, if it made national news and like if they said it was like, oh, this convicted pedophile just did this shit, like I would have like probably remembered it. But like that's the kind of global censorship that you can expect from like the news. Which is why like if I'm gonna get my news, I'm gonna get it from Aspen Gold if anything. Oh, fuck the news, man. Fuck CNN. Fake news. Fake news, man. All right, so what led up to his Paris arrest was he said he was going to go to Belgium when he was going to like an airport and he had to like he wanted to return the same day, but then he just went MIA and then he shows up in Paris and he's using a fake name, fake passport, whatever, all this stuff, and he's paying off all these people. And here's like the advertisement. Like there's a clip on the website on the whatever I think it's like a BBC website or whatever on like what he asked this like agency for like the girls ages 8 to 14 or something. It's really grueling stuff, and like all these like weird requirements, confidentiality, etc., etc. And the craziest part about this is the victim, like the bride that he's trying to like he calls it a mock wedding, but whatever, right? It's Paris, France, Disney World. He's renting out the place for like, hundreds of thousands of pounds, and then, he's trying to victimize these people. This young Ukrainian 9-year-old girl, her family. Her mom's like a year older than us. Like she's only 41. And yeah, it's one of those things where you can't believe you're hearing this. Like I just clicked on the picture because of like the guy's weird hair and stuff. I didn't know it was gonna be this bad. So he's 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 doing this all under the premise of fraud, right? Because he has to register. So, but the money apparently was real. All these people were already paid. And what happened was, like, he hired this person, this Latvian guy, to act as as the father of the bride. But then he saw, like, so the details of this was, they were taping high heels for this 9-year-old girl. Terrible. And like everyone's just like freaking out, like what the heck is going on? Even the Disney staff is just like, no, this can't be. So they call it in, and they put him in handcuffs and stuff, and he's like wearing like a lot of makeup. Like I think he's like, they blur his picture, in the news report, but I think he's like trying to come off as the Joker. So like yeah, man, like the Sikhs really don't want you to know about this, man. They really don't want you to know about it. But and he's been around for a while, financed by his family. You know, like the grooming gangs are always going to be a thing. If you think you can trust any Punjabis, the Sikhs and the Muslims, they work hand in hand. Watch your back.